In our last example here, we're going to look at some hooks associated with advanced custom fields. This is a very popular plugin used to add custom fields to WordPress sites. Now, if we add to this hooks, we can see that we're taken to the Advanced Custom Fields documentation. If we scroll through this, we can see that we have information on field types, functions, features, actions, and then filters. So what this is telling us is that Advanced Custom Fields has its own set of actions that it's created around these touch points here. It also has its own set of fields, and the one we're going to look at particularly is load field. We see something at the top here that says this action works on 4.0 and above. If using version 3, please use this function. So this is an important point where you'd want to use some of those conditional helper statements we looked at to test to see if this hook is available, or what version it is, and if it's not on the current version, you'd roll back and use something different. What this hook is doing is letting you get the field data and then customize it before it's echoed to the page. This is very helpful since in advanced custom fields, you would often be doing something like So if you had something like this where you were calling in your custom field and you were running the field, what you could do with this is pull this data out before it's displayed on the page, customize it, and then return it. So let's say, for example, that with a certain piece of data, you wanted to output it a certain way, maybe include some other markup with it, or include some other information, or format it to be displayed a certain way that's going to be specific for your theme, but you could see people wanting to customize and change that later. Using these filters, what you could do is run some functions that would customize how this would be outputted from the functions.php or an included file. And you wouldn't have to do all of the code and customization in the actual template file. Now, it's a trade-off in when you want to customize something at the template level versus hook into it at the filter level. However, if you can move into the practice of making your code more modular, flexible, and dynamic by using filters and actions, then that's going to be a positive thing. So we close with an example where, similar to Gravity Forms, Advanced Custom Fields has some great documentation with more than just the name of the filter or action that is offered, and it actually has some good explanation, changelog, usage, and examples to go along with it. As you begin to work with and build other plugins, remember to keep in mind this process of how to look up documentation and whether or not those plugins have hooks that you could tie into. If you can't find documentation, but you're still seeing hooks show up when you look under certain plugins, then you may need to switch to searching the code base as we looked at to find out where the actual filters or actions are and what parameters they're accepting or when they're occurring. At this point, though, you should have a pretty strong basis to explore using hooks in all sorts of ways with WordPress.